marker. So we watched Two Guns this week, which is a movie about Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington doing whatever the fuck they want all the time, because two men with pistols is greater than the combined military forces of the CIA, Navy, and a Mexican drug cartel combined.
What? Yep, that is everyone. Is that everyone?
That is everyone. There were three sides who were trying to get these guys.
Albeit, two of those three sides were relatively small. Well, I mean, at the very end, they were very small, which is where we see that happening exactly verbatim. But
yeah,
either way, yes.
So I'm gonna start this by saying I usually try to watch a movie from two standpoints simultaneously. One is just trying to enjoy the movie for what it is and trying not to be critical of it and just letting the movie take me on whatever ride. And then at the same time, trying to have an eye for things that I think are right and wrong from a more critical standpoint. And this movie kind of failed to capture me on both levels.
I enjoy action movies like this purely for the experience of people shooting things and blowing things up. And there's a part of me that is very okay with that. And once that part of me is satiated with a movie, or I'm just throwing it away and when I walked into this, I was kind of set that aside a little bit. So there's a part of me that was like, guns, explosions, cool. But at the end of it, I'm just, yeah.
You see, there wasn't any emotional experience in this movie to carry you from one explosion to another. Pacific Rim was largely a movie where it was just giant robots punching things with very weak acting in between. However, I love Pacific Rim. A, because it gave me giant robots, but B, because they gave me enough in those intervening scenes for me to care about all of the things that got me to punching the giant monster. If I didn't know why I should hate the giant monster and all the history that they give you, they front load you with in that movie, it doesn't matter that a robot keeps punching things.
All right.
In this movie, people keep shooting things, and they never give you any reason to care why people are getting shot. They just expect you to find it cool that people are getting shot. And really, as soon as the plot kicks off, and it starts you en medias res in the middle of a heist, and you just go bang, 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 bang. The movie was almost all third act until the conclusion. Because they never stop shooting people.
True.
I was exhausted. And I didn't care. And I was exhausted.
No, what was tiring was trying to keep track of their plot the entire movie. Trying to keep track of who was responsible for what, and where this money that we saw exactly twice in the movie. Why?
Where it went. So
I had a hard time following where they were trying to drag me along with that, because they weren't giving me enough information throughout the entire movie to be like, oh, so this is here, or kind of like get my own way to the conclusion of what they're trying to sell me.
Well, see, you didn't care is the thing. It's not that the plot was complicated per se, because the plot's fairly simple.
It's simple, yes.
Yeah, the basis of the plot being that two people who know Mark Wahlberg, or rather one person that knows Mark Wahlberg, one person that knows Denzel Washington, are secretly hooking up. They get together, they set up Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington to take the fall for a heist, and they secret the money away somewhere, and there's a Mexican drug cartel, the U.S. Navy, and the DEA involved, and the CIA.
I'm going to tell you your problem is right there. That's a lot of entities to keep track of under one movie premise.
Well,
in Pacific Rim, we have giant robots, and we have monsters.
Well, I don't want to draw too direct of a comparison to Pacific Rim, but...
I'm just stating that because you brought it up earlier, but it's there. That is a lot of entities to keep track of through the entire movie.
Only because we don't care about any of them. The CIA is ridiculously evil.
They're assholes from step one, yes.
You don't understand for most of the movie why the Navy even doesn't like this guy who they're kicking out, and they never really give you a truly satisfactory reason other than we wanted to steal a lot of money. And then they go above that guy's head to the Navy. So the dude in the Navy that's part of this plane is down here. Mark Wahlberg eventually finds his way to an admiral, and the admiral goes, You're both out of the Navy. And then,
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like.
And then those guys came back and were part of the finale anyway. Because
one of them, he made one of the guys AWOL. Did he like kick everyone else out? And it's like, you guys get to go with this guy too, all at the same time.
You know what the end of this movie felt like to me?
What?
Have you ever seen an episode of a sitcom where there are two people in a relationship who are mad at each other, and a friend calls both of them and tells them to be at the same place at the same time, and they go, "Oh my god, I was here to see so-and-so. I was here to see so-and-so. Oh my god, let's kiss and make up, except there were guns." That is the conclusion to this film. I kept getting taken out of the action by exactly how many cliches they managed to stumble over throughout the course of this movie. And there were some genuinely funny jokes sprinkled about, and Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington are fantastic actors. And when they were, the best parts of this movie, when they were just left alone to kind of chew the scenery and talk to each other and play off of each other, I genuinely enjoyed that opening diner scene.
They had good interactions together, and that I found largely enjoyable when they were just, like you said, just doing their own spiel. At the beginning, I'm a little concerned because I didn't understand why they needed to burn down that poor diner.
But you see, it created intrigue. I was invested by that because
I was okay, but I was hoping they would be like, man, we totally burned this on purpose. But then it just turned into a plot element that was completely arbitrary.
No, it was necessary.
Yeah, but you got under the premise that the CIA guy was like, you know that one riddle that no one else knows?
No, they burned it down because they had the okay, so they make a lot of...
Oh, so wait, was it because they wanted all the cops at the station not getting donuts?
They burned it down for a really dumb joke, which was cops like donuts.
God damn it.
And because cops like donuts, and the diner has the best donuts, and it's across from the place that they're robbing, they need to take this restaurant out, because otherwise cops will be there eating donuts. Yeah, Jane, our
please.
Camera person really wants to say something.
The reason they burn it down is because they make the best donuts in like 3 counties or something like they said, so it's not a cop joke. It's the fact that if you have that kind of title, you have a lot of different people coming in just to eat those donuts, so they have a lot of traffic. So they needed no traffic there, no pedestrians, no customers there, so that they could put on the masks, go into the police office.
Okay, that's a fair point, but also they made like 3 other donut jokes aside from this in the movie, so I don't know. I really thought it was a strong scene until they explained to me why it was.
Well, yeah, there's that, and then the CIA guy makes that joke that you rob a bank across the place that has the best donuts and just burn down. And I'm like, really? Is that your hunch for going after this? Well, is this your entire reason for why you're going to be an asshole? Or for the next, 5 scenes that we see you in, you're going to be the biggest butthole that has landed on the planet. Is this hunch? Because you remember this rhyme. That is as far as I can understand.
Was it even a rhyme?
No, it was just a little saying or something. Like, I think it was what was it? The restaurant has the best donuts in the next 3 counties, or in the closest 3 counties, burns down or something.
No, it's you never rob a bank across the street from the...
Yeah, you never rob a bank across the street from a diner that has the best donuts in 3 counties.
Exactly! And he says that right then, and...
It was dumb, so I want to stop talking about the movie for a second.
Yes.
And just as a kind of closing thing, because I don't want to go too long, I want to try to see how a short episode goes.
Okay.
So... we have movie seasons for a reason, and that is, as with all things in Hollywood, it's money.
Right.
So, summer's the time when the most people are out watching the most movies, and if you're going to pick a time to drop your blockbuster that you put, you can make, like The Conjuring, the budget for The Conjuring was $20 million.
Okay.
And they made $40 million in their opening weekend. So you
Not bad.
can do really well if you have a low budget movie that's going to do well.
Mm.
But one of the only times you can have a big budget movie like $100 million movie, say, and do well is the summertime.
Right, because then that's when you're most likely to get the most people to go see it and make all that back.
Exactly. So movies like this movie are put together for the express purpose of being, in the parlance of Hollywood, a tentpole movie. They don't expect the mass of people who are going to be seeing movies in the summer to be going for a story. They're expecting them to go for a spectacle. So they need to build a huge spectacle. They need to rent a circus tent so that they can drive people into the movie theaters.
Yeah, I see what you're going at.
And this movie seems more than some like it was pushed out because it was the kind of movie they knew they could double their money on. Because, you know, if you put $20 million in a movie and you make 40, that's great. That's doubling your money. If you make $200 million on 100, that's also doubling your money, but that's even better.
Yeah, I guess.
And at least when some action movies come out, I see that they're trying to do their own thing or put their own stamp on it, or like there was an original idea behind it, and this was based on a set of graphic novels that I haven't read.
Yeah, I was surprised by that, but at the same time, I think we talked about it briefly when we were in there. It definitely had that feel.
But the screenplay adaptation of this movie was not trying to be anything else than exactly what people were expecting from a tentpole movie, I think. It has all the lines, it has all the explosions,
So if
it
there
has all
were,
the
so what you're
guns.
saying is, if there was a generic standard for what an action movie would
Yes.
be, this is top of the list.
Yes, somebody holds a gun to somebody's balls twice.
Right.
A car explodes. There's a helicopter shooting a gun. There's cheesy one-liners.
An entire building explodes from an unreasonably small amount of gas.
Yeah, and because of that, what I would normally find to be a pretty okay action movie, the critical part of me that looks at, well, this is what I think the motivations of the people behind it might have been, goes like, And I'm not trying to totally trash the movie. It was a fun enough watch.
Yeah.
If you have nothing else to do, this weekend wasn't exactly a wash with spectacular things to go see, depending on your theater. I wanted to go see The Spectacular now this weekend, but it wasn't showing in our theater.
Here.
So we ended up seeing Two Guns. It was that or Red 2, and neither of us had seen Red.
Yeah, I figured that was a bad idea.
So
Trying to attempt to see a sequel and then judging it based... Wait a second, didn't we just do that? Didn't we just watch The Wolverine? And I do believe at least a portion of us may not have actually seen.
yes, but I had assumed you guys had. Anyway,
I had seen.
We're getting too off topic. I think that's about all I have to say about this movie. What about you?
It was gratuitous. Too gratuitous.
The parts that we didn't like, which was the dumb action that didn't have any motivation, was too gratuitous, and the parts that we did like Mark Wahlberg
was just them doing their thing, just doing their schmooze, but they're good at.
Which anytime the movie broke away from action to let them do that for 2 minutes, it was great.
Yeah.
So if you like Denzel Washington or Mark Wahlberg, you'll like this movie.
Yeah, if you like seeing maybe a collective 20 minutes of them talking and doing their thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see you recommending this movie if on this particular weekend or week of movies you have nothing better to do, this is probably the one to go see.
Probably.
But other than that, I hope you enjoy it on whatever TV station it ends up on.
Alright.
Although
It might not make it that far.
it might not make it that far. You never know. Sometimes they have edits of these films. Anyway, down in the comments below, I will put what movie we're seeing next week because we don't have it quite sorted out at the moment. But until next Tuesday, that's it for us.
Yeah! Short episode.